Mr. Dressler, what type of an engineer are you?
My background is in chemistry, so I'm chemical engineering focused.
What exactly does a chemical engineer do?
Well, a chemical engineer is involved with a lot of calculations and understanding of chemistry. It's kind of the link between chemistry and the mathematics side. So they work a lot in industry in understanding, controlling how chemicals work, how do you process chemicals on a daily basis in a safe way, a safe manner. And they're the ones that get to do a lot of the heavy math and a lot of the heavy chemistry behind the scenes in order to make a variety of products.
What was your last project?
The last project I actually worked on was an adhesive for one of my favorites, which is Oreo cookies. I don't know if you're familiar with Oreo cookies or not, but they have the reclosing package, right? When we first started that project, we actually worked on Fig Newtons and Chips Ahoy cookies, and worked on an adhesive that we took from the laboratory and scaled it all the way up to full production, where we were making from a quart size in the laboratory to worked it to where we're making about 10,000 gallons of that adhesive each week. So it's a large business, and ever since the business has been growing tremendously as they transitioned over to doing Oreo cookies. So that little adhesive part, the sticky part that goes back and forth in the recloser, that reclosing label, that's one of my last projects and one of my most famous projects, I guess.
How do these projects help people?
The variety of projects that we do, we're involved with a variety of things, making a variety of products for anything from graphics, so like stop signs and road signs so people can see on clear days and dark nights, rainy days, to bandages, making adhesives for bandages and wound care and medical fields, to office supplies and helping people stay organized and keep make their life more efficient in that manner. So a lot of the projects, a lot of our products that we make really helped a lot of people.
Do any of your projects help the environment?
Yeah, actually, we had an incident at our plant, environmental incident, where we ended up working on a project to come up with engineer a system that's a safe containment system. So if any of our reactors that we're using to make our products, we had 7 reactors and we made the products. If they had an issue that would cause an expansion and too much pressure buildup, they actually go into what we call knockout tanks. So we actually, due to an incident that we didn't have the knockout tanks at a time, and we ended up shooting adhesive all over our parking lot, so to speak, we engineered and designed a containment system. So in case any incident like that would ever happen again, it's not going to the environment, it's kept in a safe manner to protect everyone.
How long does one project take?
Well, it depends on the projects. In business, everybody wants everything done yesterday. So a lot of the projects, some projects they tried to do, they had what they call 100-day projects. Within 100 days, they wanted to get the engineering completed and done. Now, if we're developing a new adhesive for a new application, it takes a lot more than 100 days. Especially if it's like our little cookie application, we have to get the Food and Drug Administration to approve the adhesive, so that takes even more than 100 days. But a lot of the products that we make, or a lot of the engineering that goes on at the plant, is a continuous thing, and a lot of them are long-term things. So some of the projects could take anywhere from a month to a couple of years to actually complete.
How much money do you earn for one project?
Well, you don't get paid per project, to speak. You get paid annual salary, and in a lot of chemical engineer fields, in the chemical engineering field, it can be quite lucrative business because there aren't many chemical engineers out there in the world, and they're greatly needed. So you can make, I don't know what the starting salary is now, but if you're looking for salaries anywhere from $75,000 to above $100,000, depending on how good you are and what business you're in and what responsibilities you have.
In your project, what kind of chemicals do you use?
We use a variety of chemicals. We're in the polymer field of chemistry, so a lot of our focus isn't necessarily on a lot of strong acids and strong bases, but we do have some strong acids like sulfuric acid, for example, we had on hand, or ammonium hydroxide, and we used. But the acrylates, butyl-acrylate and methyl methacrylate are types of chemicals that we use are very common in the polymer industry. So the majority of our chemicals on site were handled very responsibly in a way that our operators didn't always, we always gave them the protection they needed, but it wasn't like they were dressed in those crazy space science suits, you know, all day long using the chemicals, but they did have the safety wear and the proper gear and a proper attire in order to handle the chemicals safely.
What classes do you take to become a chemical engineer?
Oh, well, chemistry and mathematics, that's what the majority of the classes that you take. They're very interesting classes, especially on the chemistry side. You get to deal with specifics, organics, and learning organic chemistry and polymer chemistry, as well as the physical chemistry side. Mathematics side, you get to learn a lot about materials and the expansion, contraction of materials, and what kind of materials you would use in industry and the designs of the equipment. For example, if we're making adhesives, adhesives are sticky things, right? So you want to be very familiar with polymers such as Teflon, to Teflon coat materials, or stainless steel to make sure, it depends if you're in the food industry, sanitizing, you know, being sanitary conditions is very, very important. So you had to know a lot of materials backgrounds, how to be familiar with what kind of materials you should be using, shouldn't be using, depending on the products you make.
Okay, and this is it, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Welcome.